Hello everyone, today I want to talk to you about Ascii art. So what is Ascii art? Ascii art or text art is a graphic design technique that makes images out of the 95 printable characters defined by the ASCII standard from 1963. It's all about making pictures with text symbols. ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. ASCII codes represent text in computers. Most character encoding schemes are based on ASCII, but many support additional characters. One example of ASCII art requires a fixed width font, such as Courier, in which each character uses the exact amount of width and height, causing for easy pixelation of an image. ASCII art can be created with any text editor. Whitespace characters are used, but only to limit the amount of ink you use, and have no other significance. ASCII art can be aligned from left to right, but can also be centered, in which is sometimes the case actually in bulletin boards in online games. The most simple form of ASCII art are the emoticons, which are just combinations of two or three characters for expressing emotions in text. In Japan, ASCII art is mainly known for, or actually as, Kaomoji, which is upright emoticons, which you can see also in the image. So, what is the origin of this art form? Even though ASCII is a digital computer art form, the origin of ASCII art can actually be dated back all the way back to 1867 to typewriter art, which you can see also in the right image. ASCII art was invented in large part because early printers often lacked graphic ability and thus characters were used in place instead of graphic marks. To mark divisions between different print jobs from different users, bulk printers also often used ASCII art to print large banner pages, making the division easier to spot so that the results could be more easily separated by a computer operator. ASCII art was also used in early emails when images could not be embedded. The widespread use of ASCII art can be traced back to the computer bulletin board system in the late 1970s. The limitations of computers of that time period necessitated the use of text characters to represent images. It was also boosted later on with the online games in the early 2000s, which allowed for clan pages, but only with text, forcing players to get creative and use, uh, the ASCII art. Even when you look for ASCII art, it might be useful to search for spying at the wall. This was probably one of the first ASCII arts ever made and can be seen in the image below. It represents two eyes with two hands peeping over the wall of the World Wide Web. In fact, it can be stated that this very image was the world's first internet meme, and many deviations have been made from it. While it used to be all handmade, right now these days it can also be generated with a program. For example, this is an image of me from a couple of years back that I put into a program and got ASCII art out of it. Here's another one, even older, more years back, but you can see how it uses also the shadows from the image to create different ASCII art. You can even make it yourself. Just post an image in Word, just right click it and send it to the back, and you can write over it. You can use a fixed width font, for example, Courier, to write over it and change the gradients with each type of letter you use. Then you remove the image and there you go. And maybe later on you can make something like this, which might be a bit difficult at first, but maybe start a bit simpler like I did and just try to type something from words, for example, and then try slowly going over to images. There are about 6 different styles of ASCII art. There's a typewriter style, which means everything is made for actually of individual characters. There's line art, which is made out of lines and used for creating shapes. There's solid art, which uses different types of symbols to create a field object or field objects. There's shading that uses symbols with various intensities for creating gradients and contrasts. There's also pixel art, which uses only four types of characters and that are block elements to make pictures. And at last, there are also combinations of the previous ones, often used for signatures or, for example, at the end of an email or the front page of a clan page in an online game. For example, like this. You can make it completely personal for yourself. And all these images, or actually, yeah, images have different styles combined. Now, there's also an alternative form of ASCII art, which is called ANSI art. This is the computer art that uses 256 symbols instead of the 95 that ASCII uses. It's more flexible and allows for more variety as they use 16 different colors instead of just black and white. However, most art groups that made this kind of art actually vanished in the early 2000s. There are still some companies that release still art packs for this, however. This was my presentation. I want to thank you all for listening. Actually, I have one more little Easter egg for you, which is this. This project was called Horny Giant Girl Spying at the Wall. It started in the early 80s with a giant head and just stopping just above the breasts. However, during my time making ASCII art for online games such as Star Wars, where ASCII art was very common, I worked on this project as well. I actually finished it by making the feet back all the way back in 2005. Many different images went through the forums and different pages, so I don't know who all worked on this project myself. And no one really can take ownership of a lot of ASCII art made back then, since everyone was copying from other people and changing each other's art. I made weapons, castles, and dragons myself, but my main focus was actually translating the art to different formats and finishing other people's work, like with the one above. If you want to make ASCII art yourself and make it easy for yourself, you can use these links to help with making ASCII art with programs. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I will see you next time.